Mamma mia. Go again. There's just so much to talk about, and I'm not going to do this. That was a terrible opening. I'm never going to attempt something like that again. Hey everyone, this is Kevin, the Apptrepreneur, and I'm actually going to stay here because it dawned on me there is shade. So I guess I will be just advertising Mamma Mia for free this entire video. Although this is probably not going to be a very long video, but I should at the very least mention, just in case you don't know, this is a live stream. That means the video could be a few minutes. It could be a lot longer than a few minutes. And we might not even necessarily get to the point as fast as usual. But as usual, the teal deer version is in the first 10 minutes of the video. And actually 10 to 15 minutes is about as long as I want this video to be. You know, because as you can probably figure out, I'm on vacation. I am on vacation. I don't have much in this world, but my family does have timeshares, and once in a while we get to go to the Lawrence Welks Resort in Escadena, California, and it is a very nice place to go. And I have to admit, it's just been very, very nice to just be able to relax and catch up on some Z's, some old shows before I return, because I have a lot of projects to work on when I get home. Some professionally, some for this channel, some for the other channel. And right now life's looking pretty good, but now is a little bit of quiet time. But there was a story that premiered while I was here. Actually, while I was driving here yesterday, I was talking to Alpha Driver and Uber Girl Paula, who ironically did a one-on-one chat with Uber Hints today that I'm sorry that I missed. But they gave me some information. Well, not really gave me information. It's very public information. I just didn't have access to it because I don't live in LA. But if you are an Uber driver in LA County, you got a raise. A couple days ago, you got from 2 p.m. starting on Friday, you got a 40% raise in the rates. Not joking, Uber even sent out an email and they said that we know your time is valuable. I doubt it, but hey, we know that there's a lot of traffic in LA, which that's really what this is more about. It's about the traffic than it is anything else. And they said, hey, you know what? Starting today, you get a 40% raise, which is really impressive because that's close to half what they dropped the rates. So you might be getting some decent money in LA. Now then, there are a couple of little things attached to it. A couple strings. There always are, because that's Uber for you. And I realize if I walk too far, the sun will blind, so I got to kind of stay right here, advertise Mamma Mia forever. And the first thing is that this is only for UberX and Uber Pool rides. So, yeah. If you are black, Lux, SUV, anything fancy, you don't get a raise. I'm sorry, you just don't. It's only for X and Pool. So that's the first catch. Second catch is that obviously it's only in Los Angeles right now. Now, someone has already commented, but what about San Francisco? I mean, that's got crazy traffic, and by the way, it's also where Uber is headquartered, I should mention. We don't know any races for Chicago, Illinois, or New York City. Maybe they are on the way. I don't know. I think what's happening right now is this is a test, because here's the thing. People are driving less Uber. I think they are, especially in places like LA where I have driven before. It is not the most convenient place to drive. It's bumper to bumper traffic. You're getting mainly short trips. You don't make a lot of money in LA or San Francisco. It's really hard to anyway. I mean, the vast majority of trips are going to be short. So most of your trips are going to be like $2.30. This raise means you'll get closer to $5 a trip, which is definitely an improvement. But why are they doing this? I think they're just testing it out. I'm thinking they're testing it out to see if they can get some people that have been on the Uber platform for a while to get back into the driving game. And did anyone see that fire truck? Am I pointing in the right direction? I'm probably not pointing in the right direction, but yeah, there's a fire There's a fire truck here and an ambulance now, so... But anyway, live. You gotta love it when it's live. So, we know that Uber wants to stop spending a lot on the bonuses. They made that very clear. They've lowered the bonuses everywhere, but I think in Los Angeles, they might actually be suffering a little bit. They might be suffering just a little bit because LA is one of the few areas where not only did they not drop the referral bonus, they actually strengthened it. They strengthened it. So if you are in LA at the moment, this isn't forever for anyone who's watching this in the future, well, if you recommend someone drive there, you will both get $900 each for about 75 trips. That is a crazy referral. I've not seen a referral like that in a long time, and that's in LA. So there must be something about LA where the people are just not showing up to drive. So Uber's doing what they basically have to do when drivers don't show up to drive. You raise the prices. Now, they still don't want to do it for Black or SUV or anything, which, unfortunately, that means people like Peterson, my friend Peterson, he's probably getting screwed in this. So, wouldn't be the first time, and we've all been screwed by Uber, so, it's probably just part of the course at this point, but I wish he got a raise too, just saying. So, I think the drivers aren't showing up, and Uber's raising the rates, which is pretty much what I said would happen all this time. I had always said, you know what, if you don't show up to drive, if the drivers aren't there, eventually Uber will raise the rates. And I think they tried to avoid it for a little while. They tried to avoid it, because they first started by giving a $900 bonus, and yet it didn't work. So what do? They raised the rates. Now, what's questionable is, will this actually get people to do it? Because, again, Los Angeles is kind of interesting. It's, I've driven in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles was good for one thing. If you had boosts, if you had to get like a bunch of trips really fast, you could more or less do it in Los Angeles, because there were a lot of people taking a bunch of really short trips, and a bunch of tourists who, even though they wanted to go someplace that was just like a few blocks down the street, they didn't know where it was, so they'd call an Uber. That was a good way to rack up the power bonus. But if you're trying to do this for a living, if you're trying to do this seriously, it's a big hindrance to have a bunch of short trips. Now, another thing people might point out is, but what about LAX? LAX is an airport. Well, let me tell you a little bit about LAX. First of all, getting in and out is one of the biggest hassles in the world. It could take you 30 minutes to an hour just to get in there. And yes, you will get a ride on the way out. But here's the thing. LAX is in the center of LA. They might take you to Thousand Oaks. You might get a ride to Escondida. You might get a ride anywhere, but there's also a chance you would just get a ride to a hotel that's within 5 miles of the airport. So when that happens, well, you're looking at maybe a $7 trip, and then you got to go back into the airport queue. You're looking at over an hour potentially to get $7. Oh, by the way, we got Uber Girl Paula here. But thanks for the advice, Uber Girl Paula. You and Mark gave me this wonderful advice so I could make this video. Sorry that I missed your live stream with Uber Hits. But anyway, moving on. So, it's LAX could potentially be this great thing where if you were to go to LAX, you could get potentially a long trip. And at that point, the heightened rates are a good thing. However, as stated, most of the trips in LA are fairly short. They aren't long. I know this from experience, and trust me, LA hasn't changed that much in 3 years. In fact, congestion has gotten a lot worse, as far as I'm aware. So then, is this a good thing? Yes, absolutely. In fact, if anything, this kind of got me feeling a little giddy for the first time in a while, because, thank you, Nam. That's the third thing. The price increases do not, as far as I'm aware, this could be someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, the minimum fare has not gone up. You're still getting a basic minimum fare, I think. But at the same time, that would also defeat the purpose of raising the rates in the first place, so I just don't know. I would know if I was in LA, but I'm not. I'm in Escondido, which is pretty close to San Diego right now. So, but getting back to what I was saying earlier, I'm feeling pretty giddy about this. I'm feeling pretty giddy because it's been a long time since Uber's actually, okay, Uber Girl Paul just said it's $3.75. That's like $1 more than what it used to be. So, yeah, okay, that's positive, or 75 cents more, something like that. I remember it starting out at $2.60, but it's also been a while. But it's nice that Uber finally got put in a position that they had to raise the rates. And drivers can continue to put them in that situation if you just don't drive. If you don't drive when it's not worth it to you. And I think that's just where we are. But this is also the first signal, I think, that it can be done, because Uber has no reason to raise the rates. Or at least we don't think they do, not on the surface. I mean, why would they raise it and by 40%? I mean, really? So, now Doug says Uber was fine, so Uber was forced to raise it. I don't think that happened. I mean, if that's the case, we would have been seeing a rate hike throughout all of California. It's Uber settled for like a data breach, but so anyway, but it's still a little positive. I'm still pretty stoked about this. So we have hit the 11-minute and 47-second mark. That's pretty much how far I wanted to get. But before we go, I've got probably another 5 to 10 minutes. So for anyone watching in the future, this is pretty much where the news portion ends, and now it's just the rambling, let's talk to everyone. I'm going to go back, see if there's any important questions I missed. I'm not going to read all of these. Let's see here. Driver Steve doesn't like timeshare. Namely came home at the perfect time. William says, show some love, smash that thumbs up. Yes, folks, thank you. Dark Road Runner, of course, one of my most consistent moderators, fans, friend even. I think we definitely earned calling him a friend at this point. This guy has helped me out behind the camera in ways that you don't know, so he actually probably has to come on a live stream at some point, next time I'm in Sacramento. Let's see here. And don't worry, Nomley will not ban. Nomley, don't ban just because they don't like the video. Just ban them if they're being a jerk. And let's see here. Aaron's here. Hey, Tony, how you doing? Oh yeah, driver Steve said there's a bee here. There's a bee. I have never been stung by a bee before in my life, and I don't want to start now. But Driver Steve says, watch out for scheduled trips. Those could be really good. That is especially true. If you have a scheduled trip in LA, that might especially be worth it now. Let's see here. iSurvivor says, the only problem is that a price increase will attract more drivers to work for Uber, and that will cause drivers to earn less in the end. Well, guys, look, you got to take that chance sometimes. I mean, and ultimately Uber does have to just put an end to this. They have to get reliable people, and they have to close the gap at some point. Because you know what? When there's like a company out there who says, like a good example recently, Disneyland. They've announced that they're going to be increasing the minimum wage like $15 to $15 in a few months. Record number of people applying for Disneyland. They only accept so many. They're only going to hire so many people, though. That's what Uber needs to do. And you know what? I would rather Uber raise their rates and us potentially make less from... I would rather make more money per trip than have to drive more to make that same amount of money. That's my position. That is math I could live with. If I'm fiddling around and I'm reading a Game of Thrones books, or currently The Shining by Stephen King, because I'm waiting for a trip and I'm getting fewer trips, but those trips are making me more money than they were before, I will totally take that. I will totally take that. You know, if you think that you're making more money just by consistently driving, that is a lie. Uber has told you. It is a lie that they have convinced some people. And no, that's not a problem. Let's see here. Jim, do you have to be an LA-based driver to get those rates? I would assume that if you're just driving in the area, you do get the rates. However, I don't know for sure. Oh, another ambulance. Wow. So but I think the way it works is if you are in LA, because the message said something along the lines of if you pick up a trip in LA County, you will get a raise. So it's 40% more. So I believe it's just location based. By the way, while I'm here, let's just take a quick turn this around. Look up there. Look, there is a house way up in those mountains. Way up in those mountains. Like, I don't know how I'd feel about living in a place like that. I mean, on one hand, that looks like a very nice house. It's obviously very luxurious. Probably have a great view, but it's in the middle of nowhere. And you are isolated from everyone. So I don't know. There's probably a movie star that lives up there or something. So, let's see here. Okay, Rick Ritchie said minimum fare went up, but only increased by 10 cents. Not a big deal, really. Still 30 cents lower than when I first started. So, let's see here. And then lower in OC. So, let's see here. It's like, yeah, Rick also said, got excited by the headline, but then read the fine print. Yeah, it's the fine print. It's always that annoying fine print. Oh, hey, Anthony, subscriber. Thank you. Welcome. We're on our way to 10,000, and I've got an interesting Kickstarter project I want to start when we hit 9,500 for a special 10,000 sub anniversary special, if people want it. Let's see here. Driver Steve says, we need an app that tells us where it's busy and where it's not busy, where the long trips are and short trips are, which platform is the most profitable at any given time, so much more. Yeah, but unfortunately, a lot of information is proprietary. It's kind of weird how it works out. You think it shouldn't be, because I know that Uber and Lyft and Postmates and DoorDash, they always like say, oh, here's going to be the busy areas, here's going to be this. But what a lot of people are not aware of, when they do that, not everyone's getting the same notification. So, for example, one day, I might be sent to the Staples Center in Anaheim because there's a Beyonce concert. Like, oh, it's going to be busy there. At the same time, there is a Cinco de Mayo festival at Huntington Beach. The app will tell me to go to the Beyonce concert, and and a portion of other drivers will go to Beyonce. And we'll tell another portion of drivers to go to Huntington Beach for Cinco de Mayo. And then it will tell another portion of drivers to go to the observatory because there's an underground band playing. So they do that to try to spread the drivers out so that it lessens the chance of a surge. Yeah, we do need like a third-party app that could just look at it and give everyone that same information, but I don't know. Again, that information is proprietary, and I think you'd have to hack into Uber's system to get it, so that might be illegal. So Tampy says, only in LA? Yep, sorry, only in LA. If you live in Oregon, sorry. Ali says, Kevin, I want to thank you for being a driver's advocate, and you and Uberman should get all the credit for rate increase in LA. Well, I cannot accept the credit for the rate increase. I mean, I told people not to drive. I told people to protest, and I have been protesting by continuing to make these videos and stuff. However, one guy is not going to be able to do it all. One guy can't do it all, no matter. It only works if a bunch of people get together like they did. Like all of you did. So everyone give yourself a pat on the back. And for those of you who have not gotten a rate increase yet, you know what? That's fine. Continue doing what you have to do. If you want it, get out there, stop driving, start protesting, start writing to Congress, start making videos of your own. Everyone has the power to do this. LA, and the funny thing is, I don't even think LA made like a big stink about it. I think people in LA just stopped driving after a while because it got to be ridiculous. So Doug Kroger said, you gonna sing Mamma Mia? I tried at the beginning. That was awful. That was awful, and I'm never gonna attempt that again. Gertie says, Kevin, when are we getting a raise in New York? I don't know. I would start emailing Uber. In fact, hey, here's something you do. Everyone email Uber and say, hey, when are we getting a price increase? I decided I don't want to drive until I get one. You know what? Just, yeah. It's like the hat man, LOL, it's your signature. Well, the hat, as well as the ending catchphrase, will be explained when we hit 10,000 subscribers. I gotta save something for that big milestone, and that's gonna be it. So, let's see here. Total Tech, always good to see you here. Driver, I myself would rather do one long trip than 20 short trips for the same amount of money. I agree. I agree. So, let's hear it. Billy and Kevin, you're doing good. Thank you. So, let's see here. Anything else? It's like Doug Kruger said, climb the hill, you lose more weight. I think you mean climb the hill. Yeah, you know what? I've been doing that. You know, it's funny. I've been walking less these last couple days because I'm on vacation, but there's a lot of hills here. So I'm definitely feeling the workout. The workout's like the one thing I have not taken a break from. I'm still waking up and I'm still doing it. Still have to get that, you know, that weight down a little bit. I'm definitely going to miss my goal. I wanted to be 170 by Christmas. That's not going to happen. I think I'm like 189 right now. And the weight loss has just slowed down a lot. But maybe by the spring or summer I can do it. Rick Ritchie says, it's just me. If so, my math must be wrong. But it's not even 35 to 40% increase, Kevin. Can you tell me where my math is wrong? No, I can't because I don't know what math you're doing. Also, I don't have access to those numbers. That might sound like, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. That. Well, no, because Uber sent me an email and they said it's 40%. So that's what I'm reporting on. They said it was 40%, so it's 40%. Now, if someone does the math, if someone does the numbers and releases them and disputes them, then of course I will make a video, of course. But I just can't do it personally. Well, not at least for a few more days. I'd have to go to LA, and I'm not going to leave my vacation just to do that. So anyway, let's see here. All right. Oh, Namlis, thank you for the super chat. He says, I like cheese. I like cheese too. I got to eat a little bit less of it, but because it's got a lot of fat in it, but I do like cheese. Let's see here. Star Steve, I'll be going through the drivers to get this information. Rick Ritchie says LA OC increase. I am not aware of Orange County increasing the rates, but if I am, I will make a video because that actually affects me personally. Randy says, hi Kevin, Uber eliminate acceptance and collection percentages. Yep, I know. I made videos about those already. Total Tech says one guy can make a difference. He can, but if it was just me on a microphone telling people not to drive and nobody did it, it doesn't matter. But only by everybody not driving can things like this happen. So everyone who decided not to drive, who made this possible, they deserve the credit. It's like Seaside Surf says, woohoo, did you buy a bus? You doing tour? No, I'm not doing tours. This is just where it's shady. If I step out of the shade, the sun ruins my shot. So I'm staying in the shade, and there happens to be this very, in my opinion, overrated Broadway production. Well, I'm also trying to lean on this, but it's not the most sturdy thing in the world. So, Dark Road 1, did you remove the Rapify, Kevin? I did. I'm actually putting, when I get back, the Rapify video is one of the videos on my dock of things to do. I need to actually do that. I mean, if I don't make that video, what did I even bother to do that whole thing for? Linnell Hamilton said, coming out of retirement, no, because where I drive, the rates have not increased. But if they do increase in my area, I would probably start doing a little bit more driving. So, plus, I'm not in retirement, I'm on strike. There's a difference. People on strike tend to go back. Namely gives you $5. Thanks for the super chat again, Namly. He says, did you know it is easier to walk uphill backwards? Different leg muscle. That is interesting. How's the weather there? Pretty nice in my opinion. Eat boneless, skinless chicken, steamed broccoli, veggies, and strawberry, blueberry, blackberry smoothies. You will get your goal by Christmas. Well, I'm eating a few of those anyway. RJ says you can still do by Xmas if you go on the keto diet. I know, but I'm trying. I don't want to do any diets. I want to change my eating habits long term. That's why I haven't done any diets. But I've already lost over 30 pounds just changing the way I eat and exercising more. So there you go. Robert says, does anyone realize Uber's going to stick it to the drivers when they finally come out with their automated killing machine? So keep on driving. I know, but guys, the self-driving cars are not going to happen. Not anytime soon. I mean, it's a shame that, yeah, we're giving them money to feed that machine, but, you know. You're not a mice, so quit eating cheese. I like cheese, though. Rick Ritchie says, I've seen 40% increase in LA and OC is 35% increase, or that's what the... Huh. Well, I will have to read the email again then. Let's see here. David hooks it. I found our Atlantic states the increases for San Fran, LA, and Orange County. Well, in that case, there might be an increase for LA, for San Francisco and Orange County. But when I make that video, I'll make a separate video for that when that gets confirmed, because I can't confirm it now. But anyway, Aaron said, do Uber Eats for exercise. I'll do Postmates for exercise, because they pay more than Uber, and I get more tips. So, and caviar. Boy, I love caviar. I wish caviar were in my area. I do it more often. So anyway, I think we're getting close to the end. I mean, I could walk a little bit. Maybe got a little walk. I got to do like a little walk back to where I live, because I actually walked down the hill to get here, because I didn't want to bother the neighbors or anything. But it's like Dark Roads. Hope we see some of that Uber data breach settlement money. Well, okay, I've got bad news for people who wanted to see money from the data breach settlement. We're not getting anything. That money goes to the state of California for whatever purposes they see fit. So drivers don't get any of that. I'm sorry. Ali says, Kevin, I feel the rate needs to be at least $1.35 per mile. I've argued for $1.50 per mile and 35 cents per minute. That's what I've argued for. I think that is fair for us. It's fair for Uber. It's fair for the customers. It makes money. Everybody wins, and it's still cheap. So that's what I argued for. It is always harder walking back up the hill. It's like Doug Kruger says, too bad we don't see you around in 20 years. Well, I might still be on YouTube in 20 years. I hope to God I'm not still complaining about Uber in 20 years. Like, that's why I make all these other videos that's not Uber related, because I don't want to be talking about this forever. But Driver 631 says, are you going to start doing weightlifting? Yes. Weightlifting is on the docket when I get back. So I am going up the hill, Doug. So walk up the hill backward. No, I'm not going to do that. I know it's faster, but that's not the point. Okay, folks. So I think there's a nice pool up here. That seems like a good place to I love this scenery, by the way. This really is such a nice place. I mean, it's yeah, it's, I could probably live here, but then who knows. But just look at all that. So okay, anyway, this is probably like a great place to end the video, this nice little background shot. Thank you all for watching the live stream. For those of you who are watching this in the future, after the fact, what do you think about everything we talked about? Do you agree, disagree? Did you get a rate increase? I would love to know. So, comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. We've got a few in the chat right now. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly. Smash that thumbs up button, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. I'm gonna get back to being lazy for a little bit, guys. I'm sorry, but after 3 years of complaining about Uber, I think I deserve a few days off without talking about this company.